The US dollar is still trading near its highs. Traders are waiting for the US Fed to drop a hint about the timing of the stimulus measures, withdrawal, and normalization of the monetary policy. A drop in the number of unemployment claims points to a confident recovery of the US labor market. However, higher consumer prices indicate that the economy is overheated and consumer inflation is likely to rise. The US dollar may advance against the Australian dollar after the publication of the Chinese industrial production report. In the previous months, the growth pace slackened to a 6-month low. Analysts suppose that in July, the indicator will rise just by 7.8% on a yearly basis. Of course, such a slowdown is a negative factor for the Australian dollar, a national currency of China's main supplier of raw materials. On Tuesday, traders will start learning important macroeconomic reports from the UK. First of all, the UK will provide information on its labor market that is rapidly growing after the withdrawal of lockdown measures. Analysts cannot even predict a possible drop in the number of unemployment claims. In June, the number of claims showed the biggest decline since the record began. At the same time, analysts are sure that in June the British unemployment rate shrank to 4.4%. Against this background, the pound sterling is likely to gain in value, in particular against the greenback. On Tuesday, during the US session, traders will learn about the US retail sales, one of the most important indicators of the country's economy. More than 2/3 of the US economy is made up of consumer spending. That's why investors pay special attention to the report. What's more, it's important to estimate consumer activity amid high inflation. Analysts suppose that retail sales may decline amid high prices. Thus, in July, the indicator is expected to fall by 0.2%. Under the current conditions, it would be a signal that inflation may decline in the near future. The retail sector will have to cut prices. In this case, the Fed's assumption that growing inflation is just a short-lived phenomenon will be proved. It means that the regulator will hardly raise the key interest rate in the near future, and the greenback will be under pressure. On Wednesday, the UK will publish the Consumer Price Index data. In July, consumer prices may climb by 0.3%. Traders are likely to sell the US dollar in the pair with the pound sterling. On the yearly basis, the indicator is expected to rise by 2.3%, remaining slightly above the targeted level of 2% set by the Bank of England. Unlike the US Fed, the Bank of England admits the necessity of higher interest rates. What's more, it openly announced its readiness to switch to a tighter monetary policy. The rhetoric has a positive influence on the pound sterling. The Bank of Canada may also tighten its monetary policy in the near future. During the last meeting, the regulator decided to cut the QE program amid the confident recovery and the positive economic forecasts. The inflation pace may intensify expectations of the monetary policy normalization. As a result, the US dollar may drop against the Canadian dollar. However, the greenback may have a chance to recoup some of its losses amid the expectations of the FOMC meeting results. The protocol is likely to read that some FOMC members also support smaller stimulus programs. This information may lead to a short-lived rise in the US currency. You are watching Forex Trader Calendar on InstaForex TV channel. We wish you profitable deals with InstaForex.